How's it going, everybody? This is Alex Caceres, and you're listening to Story of the Fight.
Oh, rapid.
Hello.
So, welcome, Story of the Fight listeners. It's another week of fights. My name is Romero. That is my boy Will. And
What up?
This is a place where we talk all things combat sports, right?
Yeah, it's and we're disclaimer. We are on a new platform,
Yes.
so it's gonna be a little herky jerky. I think this episode.
Ooh, herky jerky, huh?
But we're gonna get through it, and we're gonna learn this platform, and things are gonna get smoother. So thank you for bearing with us. We appreciate the support.
We appreciate all the support. We appreciate all the viewers. And if you want to be only a listener and not a viewer, you can find us on Spotify, Breaker, Podcast, Radio Public, Google Podcasts, pretty much anywhere podcasts are found. Anchor FM, I think, too, or something like that. I don't know. Everywhere. Social media, Will?
Yeah, it's at Story the Fight on Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, Reddit.
How easy is that? Same handle everywhere.
It's everywhere.
If you're like, I can't find you, you're just not trying hard enough. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
It's pretty simple.
Simple.
Hey, you have anything new going on this week?
Man, trying to learn this platform, trying to make things go smooth.
Yeah.
Mission accomplished. No, nothing too crazy. Just work and then fights.
Nice, man. Nice. Yeah, nothing new going on over here. Dallas finished his baseball season. They had a baseball tournament yesterday.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, lost the first game, tournament over. So it is what it is. You know what I mean? Let's move on.
Hey, sometimes you're the hammer, sometimes you're the nail. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, totally. He's learning that at an early age. All right, but last night we had UFC Fight Night, Vegas. Which one was this?
54.
54. Jan Blachowicz versus Aleksandar Rakic. By the way, we had somebody comment very aggressively that we're gonna see what's gonna be coming with the Rakic, Aleksandar Rakic.
Yeah, everyone's sleeping on Rakic. Everybody's
sleeping on Rakic, and it's pretty funny that he said everybody's sleeping on Rakic because the last Rakic fight almost put me to sleep. So it's kind of like, hey, is that like a pun on words, But no, I think he's just being serious. He sounded very serious.
Yes. Also, shout out HLB Comer. Thank you for saying that we both look very beautiful today, and thank you for shouting out the 700 subscribers. I think we're at like 749.
My guy.
As of recording, it's growing.
Guy.
We're growing.
It's growing. I want to say a week ago, 2 weeks ago, we are like trying to get to 400.
I think we started this month at like 350.
So it's growing. Yes, it's growing. It's growing. But it's nice to have all these folks joining us and following us. We really, really appreciate all the support. We love doing this. We've always said this. We're not going to do this for money or anything like that. More than anything, we just love talking fights.
Yeah.
We already do this anyways, Will. We talk fights anyways. If people want to listen, let them listen. If they want to join in, let them join in. It's a lot of fun.
HLB Comer, the legend.
If anybody wants to mention anything about Super Smash Bros. And maybe Rich the Casual will hop in. I don't know. But until then, it's just you and me talking about Jan Blachowicz versus Aleksandar Rakic.
First round. Jan looking pretty damn good.
Jan looked pretty
caught
good.
With that jab. Looked like the glove may have caught his eyelid.
Yep.
Cut his eyelid open. And HLB Comer says 1,000 subscribers and Will take his shirt off. I've been putting on weight lately, man. I don't know.
1,000 subscribers. Will takes his shirt off. Will takes his shirt off. Down to 500 subscribers.
We dropped 500. Yeah, exactly.
But Jan looked like Jan, man. He had a very nice like a jab to the body and then up with the straight that he did a few times.
Here. It's this combo that Rich has in this picture right here. He would lead in with that left hand, almost like a shovel hook to the body, and then come over the top with the right. And it was so awkward, but it was landing every single time. It was almost like he was punching at the same time with both, but just slightly first with the left to the body, and then the right over the top. And then Rakic was like, I'm going to throw my outside calf kicks. And Jan was like, I'm just going to keep checking these, and I'm going to keep throwing them back. And Rakic was like, I'll just eat these this whole night, I guess. I'm not going to check any of them because they were both throwing that low line calf kick a lot in the first round. But Jan was checking all of them Meanwhile, Rakic was eating all of them, and his outside calf looked nasty by the end of the first round. That was a
Yep.
tough, and I think ultimately contributed to what happened in the third.
100%.
But what did you have in the first? Did you have first round, Jan?
Oh man, it was so close, and while that, like I mentioned, that shot to the body and then the overhand right that came through was beautiful. There was also a very nice jab straight from Rakic that he pulled a
Yeah.
few times that seemed to be really effective. But
Mhm.
he didn't do it enough. He only did it a
Yeah,
couple
he
times, and I
really
know you don't
yeah.
want to continue going back to the well and using the same move over and over again because Jan is a former champion.
Tendencies.
He's gonna adjust, and then he'll
Mhm.
counter that, right? But when he threw that, it actually worked, and it seemed to kind
Yeah.
of stop Jan in his tracks when he would just bring that pressure with the jab straight. But the first round, I had Rakic.
You did. I had Jan. I
Yeah.
thought it was a pretty clear round for Jan because it seemed like he hurt him a couple times. Kind of
Yeah,
wobbled him a
no,
little bit.
yeah, I had Rakic that first round. I have to go through and watch it again, man, because it was super late
Mhm.
when I watched it.
Yeah.
Your boy
Second
over here
round.
is getting old, man. I have an early bedtime.
Yeah. Second round, completely different story. Rakic takes advantage
Yep.
like that right here, gets the dump, uh, and just jumped on him and kind of just controlled him, right? Nothing too crazy from the top game from Rakic, but definitely maintained top position for the whole second round. I had going into the third, there's not really not much to talk about in the second round, honestly,
Yeah.
um, but I had a round of peace going into
1-1.
the second. Yeah.
Yeah.
To
I
me,
mean, I could
it's
definitely see that.
yeah, HW Comer says, to me, it looked like Rakic overtrained and it caught up with him, carrying an injury into the fight, similar to Connor. I think he's onto something there. I think there's two factors into what happened in the third round. We could just talk about it now. Third round, um, there's trading again, and again, Jan is throwing that outside calf kick, and he throws it once, and then and he's kicking the left leg of Rakic, right? Rakic's orthodox stance, eating on the outside of his left leg. He steps back onto his right to get out of range, and you can totally see the ligament snap in his
It was
knee.
disgusting.
Dude, so bad. You could see it him plant on it, and then
Buckled.
like it just something changed in it looked so bad, and he just instantly goes down. Jan recognizes it. Mark Smith recognizes it, calls the fight. And Rakic has since said that he did about 3 months ago have the same injury. So I think so. That's part of it. I think HW Comer's right. I think there was a little bit of coming in injured slightly. Maybe it wasn't fully healed.
So
And
3
then on
months ago,
top
you
of
had the
that,
same injury.
that's what he says. And on top of that, though, if he did come in injured, right, and Jan's blasting that left leg to the calf, and he can't put weight on it, now all of the weight is going onto that back leg in a way that it's not used to. And
Yep.
if it is injured, it's just a recipe for disaster.
Oh, for
I
sure.
mean,
Hate to see it.
nasty. You hate to
Hate
see
to see
it.
it.
And it was a good fight up until that point.
It
Dude,
was.
that first round I really liked. It was a fun first round.
It was.
Second round was cool, but
And Rakic is another one of those fighters that just seems like he has the perfect build for that weight class.
oh, dude, when I was watching it,
Lean,
you could see the
long.
speed difference, right?
Oh
Like the
yeah.
speed, you could see that Jan was having to rely on like how crafty he is, whereas Rakic is just fucking
Jan was trying to.
athletic.
He had to rely on the dark arts, man.
He really did. He's all talking about being Gollum and shit, trying to get his belt back. Shout out Jan, dude. He wears a Witcher necklace. I don't. You probably
I don't
if
know
you
who
play
that
you
is.
don't know the Witcher. It's a game. It was a
Oh,
book, and
okay.
then it was a game, but it's Polish. It's so he's all stoked on it. He wears the Witcher necklace. Rich knows what I'm talking about. And then now he's talking about Lord of the Rings all the time and shit. There was a picture when
Oh,
he
dang.
had his newborn son in a crib, and he's reading like The Hobbit to him or some shit. I'm like,
Oh,
dude,
that's sick, dude.
Jan's sick, man.
He is, man. He is. No, so with Jan, he was still first
Yeah.
behind Glover Teixeira, the champion, of course.
Mhm.
So this is a W for Jan.
I mean, yeah. At
It's
the
a
end of the
W
day,
for
all
Jan.
said and done, this is a win.
So, after Glover Teixeira fights the man dime, Jiří Procházka,
Yeah, the future champ, you mean?
the future champ, does that mean you put Jan in there against him right away? Do you try to throw Magomed Ankalaev into the mix and say, hey, Jan, fight Ankalaev and see who wins between you guys? What do you do?
I think Ankalaev, they're rumored he's rumored against Smith, right, for that July 30th card.
You might be right.
So I think they'll have to wait and see.
The light heavyweight division, when I look at it now, I feel like there's more separation that's being
It's starting
created
to,
between the elite and then the
Mhm.
second tier. You know what I mean? Where
Oh yeah,
when you take a look at, like, let's say the bantamweight division, and it's just killer after killer after
lightweight,
killer.
same thing.
Yeah, like I look at it now and I'm like, okay, you have your like top 4, and then the champion, and then you start creating some pretty big separation there.
Yeah, but then you also have at the bottom, you have guys like Jamal Hill, who I think it's only a matter of
On the
time,
up and
right?
up for sure.
Yeah.
I just can't quite put him there
Not
yet
yet.
with,
Yeah.
Don Kalaevs of the world.
Yeah, I don't know. I think, man, it's tough. I feel bad for Rakic, man, because he was. I
He
mean,
looked good.
he looked really good, and he's had a tough go lately because, I mean, he ducked a couple guys, right? He ducked Yidri, and then it kind of came back to bite him in the ass. I mean, but he might have been injured. If he's talking about, I mean, this is like a recurring thing, maybe, I don't know, but at least now that it happened in a fight, it's covered by healthcare. You know?
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
UFC will pay for the surgery.
Unless he says, hey, this was a previous injury, then I don't know.
Yeah, I know. Now the UFC's like, wait a sec.
Yeah,
Come in with this? Yeah.
That's on you, bro. That's on you.
Yeah.
And
So
with
dirty.
the fight against Anthony Smith, man, again, not the most exciting fight.
No.
He wins by unanimous decision against Thiago Santos. But dude, I feel like he
Or
really
that.
came in more aggressive against Jan.
Oh, and this one? Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Which I appreciate. Thank you so much, Aleksandar Rakic.
I appreciate you doing that.
But what did you give up for that? Everything.
Yeah, everything.
Yeah. All right, man. Anything else on the main event?
Not really, man. That's about it, right? I mean, stoked for
Mhm.
Jan, bummed for Rakic. You don't want to see it end like that.
And I
But,
mean, I don't think Rakic falls too far down on the rankings after this.
No, I don't think so either.
All right.
I mean, they were around a piece, in my opinion.
We had Ryan Spann versus Ion Cutelaba before this. Dude, I love Cutelaba's like leading up to the fight.
Yeah,
He's
it's
so
great.
entertaining.
Dude, and I really, really like Ryan Spann, dude.
Yeah,
if
me
you
too.
go back, his last few fights, win or lose, man, his fights are exciting as hell. And this was no different. This was crazy, man. This was a whirlwind.
Cutelaba's fights are exciting too. His
Yeah.
face-offs are exciting. His weigh-ins are exciting. He's just a character. He's just a character.
Yeah, he
but
really is, man.
what did you think of the fight?
I mean, like I said, it was a fucking whirlwind. I was very, very impressed with Ryan Spann's grappling. Not just because he got the submission, but dude, off of his back. I mean, Cutelaba's no joke, man. His top game is legit, like super legit. And Spann he was so good at being able to get his feet on the hips and just explode him off. Like, I mean, that's the type of shit you see like in the video game. You know, it's so hard to do in real life against a guy has really good top game, and you're getting your feet on his hips and you're pushing him across the cage to get off of you. Like, that was wild. And then back up, and then he's throwing Superman punches and shit. I mean, he looked very good.
And I mean, ultimately, Cutelaba gets caught, right, with the guillotine choke. In classic Cutelaba fashion, gets caught. But yeah, I mean, again, I'm a big Ryan Spann fan as well. This puts him at 20-7.
27, and I mean, you look at his losses, man. I mean, he was on he was on such a win streak when he came into the UFC.
He lost
on
to Johnny
a 3-fight
Walker.
Win streak. Yeah, lost to Johnny Walker. But not just that, but dropped him. I mean, almost finished Johnny Walker earlier. Remember, that's what everybody was talking about.
Oh, that's right, yeah.
Almost took him out, and then Walker came back, and I mean, he has so much power, you know.
I mean, okay, so he beat Sam Alvey, but so has the rest of the UFC. Lost to Sam Alvey. Keep on smiling. Johnny Walker. But he beats Misha Cirkunov.
Yeah, not a bad win. Like, that's a great win.
Anytime you can beat anybody with an "ov" at the end of your name,
you're
doing something well. You're a killer automatically. And then he loses to Anthony Smith. Anthony Smith, somebody that contended for the title. He's been a staple of this division already for quite some time. I think he's still sitting in the top 5 right now.
Yeah, I think yeah.
So no slouch.
I mean, he's about to fight Ankalaev.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he gets a win. And you look at, I mean, he finished Serkinov in the first round, and he finished Cutelaba in the first round. HOB Comer says Cutelaba seems to have the brain power of a Homer Simpson, but he is never in a boring fight. Yeah, I mean, and that's
but also the entertainment of a Homer Simpson, because
Yeah,
he's
exactly.
so out there, you know what I mean? And you're just like, silly Cutelaba.
Yeah, he's so
You know?
angry. He's so angry all the time.
I'll always remember that when he like just jumps up and yells at God, who was it? Ah,
I know
man,
he
in
and
the way.
DC had beef.
Him and DC?
Yeah, DC
No,
said
who
something
was
about his
it?
wrestling, and he took it
Oh.
super personally.
Against Khalil Roundtree. And
Oh,
Khalil Roundtree like jumps back all scared, and he like looks at the camera and looks at he's like, dude, what's going on here? What just
Yeah.
happened? But that was such a funny face off, man. But yeah, not much to say about that fight.
I mean, it was so fast, right? I mean, they're it's up, it's down, it's up, it's down, and then you could tell that Spann saw something in those takedowns even early. He saw the neck as an opportunity, missed it the first time. Cutelaba shot in the exact same way again, and then gets the neck, keeps it standing. Those standing guillotines are so gnarly, dude.
Mm-hmm.
They're so gnarly. That crank, and you see the guy like twisting and like, I mean, it's so gnarly. And then he just jumps full mount and then just gets the tap.
Yeah,
I mean,
part of that is
job.
part of them is them trying to get out, but another big part of it is like the pain, man. Like just trying to find some kind of angle where it's not scorching
okay.
pain down your neck and your shoulders and every other spot around there. But yeah, that's all I got for that fight, man. Unless you have anything else. Look at him cinch it in there.
I know. And then he takes him down, and then I mean, fantastic. Steps over him. You're not going anywhere. It was such a quick tap too. Once he stepped over, I mean, it's over.
Oh yeah,
you know.
Yeah. Live to fight another day.
Yeah. HW Comer says you forgot the main event nose off. That was that bit was legendary. And yeah, that was fantastic.
Do we not have a picture of that face off?
We do not have a picture.
Or was it a picture of it once they separated? The weird part, though, HLB Comer, is not necessarily a nose off. We've seen that before. A la Anderson Silva, and I don't remember who else it was.
Yeah.
But it was the smirk and the smile. The smirk from Rakic
they were
and
just
the smile from
so
Jan
funny,
after they separated, where they had a moment and they knew it.
Yeah, they did, and both of them were like, "Don't you fucking laugh."
Like, if you laugh, it makes it awkward. Even more awkward. Oh
yeah.
man.
I have a picture here.
Oh, perfect.
I'll
Can you put it up real quick on the in this platform? Is that something you can do really quickly?
Yeah. Let me just get the URL. Because it is worth it.
Dude, it was just so awkward. It was one of the most awkward things that I've seen in a while.
HW Comer wanted them to kiss so much. I honestly wouldn't be surprised if Jan was just like,
oh, dude, Rakic probably would have thrown the right hook at that point in time, and it would have turned into a massive disaster. We've seen that happen before. We've seen that happen before, and the reactions aren't always really good. So
Heath Herring, right? Heath Herring did it back in Pride.
I think that's what it was. Yeah. All right. Before that, we had Davey Grant versus Luis Smolka.
Listen, man, I'm a big Luis Smolka fan. Always have been. He's been a staple of r/MMA since way back in the day. Always been a cool dude to talk to. And Davey Grant just puts on bangers every time. This is not fight of the year, but this might be my favorite fight so far this year.
From the last time we saw Smolka to now, looks like dude's been living in the gym and hasn't like shaved or gotten a haircut since his last fight.
Well, dude, I mean, I feel for Smolka because he was cut at a certain point, right, at flyweight, and he talked about his struggles with like addiction and stuff, and like half the time he was training, he was hungover, and just, I mean, tough life. He moves up in a weight class, and I thought looked like this is the weight class he should be at.
Yep.
Dude came in on a mission, and Davey Grant said, "Hold up, check out these hooks," and just that first round. Oh my God. What a fucking round, dude. Davey Grant looked like a goddamn world beater. He's throwing the left hook to the body right up top. He's throwing side kicks.
Over and over again.
Like, I mean, he just looked, everything he was doing was working. And you could see Smolka would reset, look a little frustrated, come in to try to land his own shots, and then just get lit up and then have to back out again. And he's like, what do I do? I mean,
dude, the thing is that, look, Grant's not the first person to throw hook, you know what I mean? But he throws everything.
Dude, he
into that
cracks him.
combo.
Yeah.
I'm surprised that Smolka went this long, honestly.
Dude, and yeah, I mean, the first round looked like it could have been over when he dropped him with that jab. It looked like it could have been over. And then, dude, that second round, Smolka came in and beat the brakes off Davey Grant. Those
Yep.
elbows, those stepping, because that's the thing. What an adjustment from Luis Smolka, because every time he comes in, Davey Grant's throwing hooks. How do you beat the hooks? Straight shots. He tried that in the first round. Did not work. What's even quicker than a straight shot? You just step in and throw your elbow up. And he started landing those elbows. And then all of a sudden, Davey Grant's throwing labored hooks. He's beating him to the punch with those elbows. The leg kick was landing. I mean, he looked fantastic in that second round. And I was like, holy shit, did Davey Grant gas out in that first? And then
it looked a little bit in the third round like
Yeah.
he started slowing down.
and then
But it's natural because you know what? Smolka started slowing down just a little bit too.
yeah. I mean, I had it 1-1 going into the third round, which is crazy considering how that first round went. I thought there's no way Smolka can come back from this. And then he just, I mean, so impressed with him in that second round. What a fantastic showing in his debut at this weight class. And then ultimately, Davey Grant puts him away in the third. I mean, Davey Grant fights like someone like from like Peaky Blinders or some shit. Like this dude should be fighting in like the 1800s, you know? Like on some boardwalk somewhere. Like
He's on that poster where the guy's
Yeah,
like, you know, that's Davey Grant.
I mean, he's certified banger. You know what I mean?
For sure. And you know, Grant and Smolka. When's the last time you watched one of their fights and thought that was a boring fight?
Yeah. Win or lose. The
Always
guys
an
just
exciting
put on great
fights.
fights.
Always
Yeah.
exciting fights. So you put these guys together and it's fireworks.
Yeah, 100%.
I love it.
I mean, they
I love
just
it.
I don't know. Like I said, that's not fight of the year by any means, but I mean, so far that's been the fight that I've enjoyed the most. I think this year. It was just so
Nice.
cool.
Oh,
here we
there
go.
it
This
is.
That's a $500 picture right there. That's
Oh
the
my,
face off.
dude, just so awkward, man.
I know.
So awkward. At what point do you think that's a good idea?
Well, I don't think it was. I think it was an accident. If you watch it, Jan Blachowicz walks in and he's looking.
Wait.
And he's
Large file, $500.
That's what I'm saying. It's a $500 picture right there.
What?
And Shelby Cover says that's a Pornhub thumbnail. But if you watch it again, as they're walking up, Rakić is like, "All right, cool, here I go." And then Jan is walking up with looking down at the feet, looking down at his feet, and then he kind of steps up and then looks up, and he doesn't. I don't think he
And he's like, oh
realized
shit,
how
you're right
close.
there.
Yeah. And then they're just there, and he's like, "All right, I'm not backing down."
All right,
So
man. I guess
funny,
neither of
man.
them back down. Hey, sometimes
Yeah.
though, you just gotta take a step back.
Sometimes you got to take a step back. You know, life moves fast. You know, take a step
All right.
back and.
Before Davey Grant and Luis Smolka, we had Katlyn Chookagian versus Amanda Ribas.
Surprising banger. Did you expect this to be fight of the night?
No.
I did not.
Okay, so Katlyn Chookagian, she is just fundamentally sound.
Very.
Her jab is solid. You're not gonna coax her into a big gunfight because even when she's throwing, she's still pretty
tight.
technical. She's
Yeah.
tight, exactly.
Mhm.
Amanda Ribas, a little wild,
Dude.
you know.
Her footwork, her moving in, she's dancing around. Her arms are like out here, and then just getting lit up the whole time. It was just not working, man.
So, Amanda Ribas goes up in weight class.
Really quick too, just to preface this, I think there was only one photographer assigned to the event, and there are no pictures of Amanda Ribas doing anything well. So all the pictures you're about to see are of Chookagian cracking her, but that does not mean it was a one-sided fight. There's just no other pictures available.
No, look, Amanda Ribas came into this ready to be the aggressor, and Katlyn Chookagian has the range. So Amanda Ribas is pressuring, trying to nullify
take away that range.
Trying to take away the range. But one of the things that the announcers mentioned is like she mentioned Mike Tyson because Mike Tyson wasn't the biggest fighter, but he still got within range to do his damage. You're not Mike Tyson though, Amanda Ribas. And so the way that Mike Tyson made his way in a lot of times was with this the peekaboo, creative footwork, being able to step off to the side, creating angles for the uppercut, and coming in. Amanda Ribas did not do that.
No,
she would continue coming forward. Yeah, and she's like, let me throw my hands around, to maybe like distract her. But it didn't. And it was just very
HW Comer says he was fights like Lisa Simpson.
Man, it was very. I like all the Simpson references today, by the way.
Same, dude. I'm not gonna lie, it's weirding me out a little bit because for the past like 2 months I've been falling asleep to the Simpsons every single night, so it's very fresh in my mind.
That's awesome. But no, in the last round, I loved the last minute where Ribas knows this is a close fight. I'm just gonna throw caution to the wind, walk forward, chin up, and just swing and yell at the top of my lungs. And Chookagian's like, loud noises, and she starts throwing hands too, like while she's screaming. And I was like, what is going on?
There was a shot that like got me super hyped. It was like the last 10 seconds when Chookagian started actually screaming back and throwing her shit, because Chookagian's always been like a ha, ha. But then Ribas comes in and she's like literally screaming, and Chookagian's like, fuck it, fight fire with fire. There was a shot of Chookagian like legit screaming as she just cracked her with a big right hand, and I was like, oh my, I've never seen this side of Chookagian.
I loved it, man. I loved it.
First time Chookagian's been sitting down on her punches that I can remember.
And that's what I'm saying. Like, she's never really coaxed into anything like that. And in the last 10 minutes, she probably knew this was a close fight. Yeah. She didn't feel like she had in the bag, and she's like, hey, these last 20 seconds could win her the round if I don't show something myself. Yeah. If I'm just playing defense and shelling up and stepping back, it's not guaranteed.
No. And so, like I said, the pictures, there was not one picture of their grappling. Not one. But that being said, the first round, half of it was Chookagian blasting her on the feet, and the second half of the round was, or the other half of the round was Ribas on controlling her on the ground. Second round, kind of the same thing. One half, Chookagian's lighting her up. Second half of it is Ribas on the ground. That being said, I know a lot of people had Ribas winning this fight. I had Chookagian just because Ribas wasn't able to do the damage.
Because she's from Brazil? Because he was from Brazil, you had Chookagian?
What are we trying to do here?
No, I'm just saying, because this is I'll reference back to this here down the road, but...
God. But yeah, I had Chookagian. She did the most damage in the fight. I mean, dude, her hands look so good.
Solid pick. But mad respect to Ribas, man, because she went up against, I think, a second rank flyweight, was it? And she gave her everything she could handle.
Yeah. I mean, the tenacity. I mean, the last 30 seconds, like you said, the last minute of that fight was amazing.
Loved it.
Ribas just turned me into a Chookagian fan.
Oh.
I mean, that was crazy.
That was crazy. Hey, after they called her name, and she looks over at her coaches and gives them like one of the like the mean daps, you know what I mean? Like, she was pumped, man. You could tell she probably could have gone another round.
Oh yeah, definitely.
It was a lot of fun.
What sucks is like now, I mean, what does Chookagian do?
Yeah, I don't know.
I mean, she was number one. She just got to win.
What does anybody in that division do?
I know.
All you do is just fight and collect checks. You're not going to be a champion.
Yeah, it's just not going to happen. And like, do you even want to try again? If I'm Chookagian, it's like, I'll just keep doing this. This is working well.
I'll tell everybody, hey, I'm the number 1 ranked flyweight in the world. I'm not a champion, but there's one person better than me.
Yeah.
I mean, what are you going to do?
What are you going to do? You just keep, like you said, you keep fighting, keep collecting checks. I mean, if you're Chookagian, you're in a very good position.
Yes. Before that, though, we had some heartbreak. You know what I'm talking about, but we're gonna have to cover it. We're gonna have to. We had Manuel Torres, Mexico, versus. I still love Frank Camacho, dude. I was torn here. Am I gonna root for my fellow countryman, or am I gonna root for the SOF alum? Not gonna lie, I was rooting for the SOF alum, Frank Camacho. Nicest guy ever. He is amongst top pound for pound for the NMF belt. One of the nicest guys ever.
Yeah.
Sweetheart. Love him.
Mm-hmm.
And we know that this is always a risk in any Frank Camacho fight.
Dude, it's kill or be killed. Guy goes
And
hard.
they're like, he's training now. He left his island to train in California to work on his defense, and you could see it, man. He's
Dude.
more conscious of his defense,
Mhm.
but he still has that warrior mentality in him, where as soon as he gets hit, he has to respond with something himself, man.
Yeah. And man, I was very impressed with Torres. His hands, the way he was able to mix it up, right? Like his uppercut was landing. He was really mixing up well. Frank Camacho did a great job of shelling, but then he switches to the uppercut that gets under the shell, straight punches. I mean, this was a long time out for Camacho. A long time out.
2 years, I think.
Yeah, he had COVID. There was that car accident that put him out like a week before the fight. It's been a long time. And it did look like it maybe took a sec for him to kind of get his footing a little bit. Also, did you notice it seemed like a lot of guys were slipping last night?
Yep.
Did you notice that?
Manuel Torres had a big slip.
Yeah, I think it was weird. But
hey, can we give my guy though a break?
Who?
Frank Camacho? Hey. Okay, hold on.
I know, dude.
Let me read off his last losses, okay?
Yeah.
We'll start off with Li Jingliang.
Yeah.
Okay. Drew Dober.
Yeah, killer.
All right. Here's Hand of Steel Jeff Neal.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's give him a break. Here's Beneil Dariush.
Yeah,
Bro,
dude.
let's give my guy a break, man.
Yeah. And then now we got Torres in here, who's clearly very good with his hands.
Oh, he's a killer.
Yeah, absolute killer.
Mexico. Sorry, dude.
Can't do it.
Sorry. Can't do it. Oh, God. Love Frank Camacho, man.
Was he the first fighter we ever interviewed?
He was our first fighter interview.
Man.
And that's why it's so heartbreaking, because he has a special place in our hearts, Will.
Yeah. This is the last picture. The rest of the fights aren't going to have pictures, but that's okay.
And I hope he doesn't mind this, but we'll share this where you message him, hey, respect, brother, onward, right?
Oh, yeah.
And he replied back with, didn't get the result we worked for. We prepared and did our best this camp. I had fun too, though. On to the next one. God, gotta love this guy, man.
I mean, dude, if you haven't seen it, go back and watch the interview, because he was about to fight. He tested positive for COVID, so he was just like in an apartment in Southern California, just doing nothing, just quarantining. It was early days of COVID too, and
early days of story of the fight.
Early days of story of the fight. Early days of COVID, and the guy, I mean, he did not need to even accept that interview request. I mean, we had probably 50 subscribers, if that. Yeah. It does nothing for him. It's not promoting him. There's no reach that we had, and but he did it, and it was so cool, man. He was just so cool in it. You could tell he was just like, I'm just here. I'm bored in here.
Did you not feel though like somebody? Did you not feel though like you've known him forever? Do you not make you feel that way?
Oh yeah, 100%. The guy's the most inviting, nice dude. Super cool, super chill. We finished recording. We did 40 minutes, and we were about to go. And he's like, oh, another story came up, and then he's like, oh, do you guys have time? Can I tell this story real quick? And we're like, bro, we have all the time in the world, man. By all means, what a cool guy.
Nicest guy ever, man. Talking about, just his mentality around fighting, the discipline, his family, his beautiful wife. He has another kid now since we last spoke to him, man. But really, really, really just a gem on this planet, man.
Yeah.
Love Frank Camacho. Wish him nothing but the best. Hopefully we can get him back on the pod one day. But like I said, very special place in my heart for Frank Camacho.
Same. Always.
All right. Let's move on before we start crying.
Yeah.
I already feel tears coming on.
All right. I know, dude.
I love that guy, man. I freaking love him. We had Allan Nascimento versus Jake Hadley.
Yeah.
Shoot
Hadley
the box.
coming in. Yeah. Hadley coming in, and a lot of eyes on him. And
he was undefeated, right?
Going into this, yeah, very big on the regional scene. It's been a long time coming. Over in Cage Warriors, right? And Nascimento just he looked so. I mean, they both looked good on the ground. It was just you could tell Nascimento was just a level above with the grappling. But man, what a fun grappling fight!
But the thing is that they're two really good grapplers, and really for me the biggest difference is just the creativeness when it comes to the scrambles. And I'm thinking about not.
Yeah, go ahead.
Go ahead.
I cut you off all the time. Go for it.
No. Hey, dude, it's fine. But Nascimento training at Shoot the Box. You know who else trains there?
Do Bronx, the champ.
Yeah, the champ, Do Bronx, dude. And he's one of the most creative off his back. He's one of the most creative grapplers. He's one of the best scramblers. So you think he's picking something up from him other than the bleached hair? It's also the scrambling.
Yeah. Well, he did a great job of attacking the leg, even if you're not. We've talked about this before. This really seems like the new move, at least in jiu-jitsu, that's going to take a while for people to catch on. But going for leg locks, even if you don't get them, you get the sweep. And just diving on leg locks from positions just so that you can take advantage of the opportunity and force them to react, because you have to react to it.
Oh, yeah.
You can't just be like, I'll leave that in there for a second. Like, you have to immediately address it, and then you can get the sweep. And he did that multiple times in this fight. I really, really liked Hadley's third round. Fantastic third round from him.
Yeah.
Because going into it, I need a finish, and he is trying to get that finish. You could tell he was trying. But Nascimento just was too much for him on the ground, Yeah,
that's a great call on the leg locks, and I think of leg locks very much like a Kimura. When a lot of people are on their back and they're going for a Kimura, it's rare when they land it.
Yeah,
but a majority of the time, it can turn into you having the ability to stand up.
Oh yeah, definitely, because you have to address it.
Yeah. So
and it's not like it's gi jiu-jitsu where you can just grab your own gi and just be like, well, go ahead, try.
Yeah.
That
was always so frustrating.
Just the worst, dude. You lock it up perfectly, like, here we go, and then you crank, and then the gi kind of moves with
I'm just holding onto my pants.
Shit.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
Exactly.
No, although one time when we're rolling, and shout out Christian, caught me on the Kimura, yes, and he did a very good job of cranking it and sliding into a better position. And I was like, I'll be able to escape this. And I was like, oh wait, no. My arm's about to tear off right now if I don't tap. So it was pretty painful. But no, it was a fun fight. Nascimento, somebody to keep an eye on. 19-6 now.
Definitely. And coming off the Contender Series, right?
Yes.
Is that where I saw him before? Because I don't think I've seen
I think it was
UFC before.
Nascimento coming off the Contender Series, and Torres coming off the Contender Series.
He fought Bekov. That was a crazy fight too. And then the
so Torres is one coming off of the Contender Series. Was
Torres?
it?
Yeah. Torres. Yeah.
All right.
But Nascimento, definitely fun to look for. Like to see the Bronx in the corner too. You could tell. I mean, like you said, what a wealth of knowledge.
He'll be a coach one day. He was super vocal, super active during the coaching and the cornering, so I loved it.
Yeah.
We had Viviane Araujo versus Andrea KGB Lee.
What a first round. Dude, that
KGB
combo.
Lee getting busted up real quick.
Yeah. Well, you could tell Araujo, I mean, she was cracking, dude. Cracking. Like,
she had the blood that just like streamed just like right down the center, and it gave her like the Charlie Chaplin.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That. But
yes, I was very conscious of what I called it.
Yeah, there was a moment where they were talking about it, and they're like, "Man, Angela Lee really sitting down on her punches," and I was like, "I'm not seeing that at all." I was thinking Araujo was sitting down on her punches because they would trade jabs, and you could see the difference, man. But then in the first, they both landed, and she dropped Araujo, and oh my God, she missed the knockout by this much.
Yep.
By this much, because instead of kicking her straight on the chin, kicked her just straight to the throat. Could not have been good. But I mean, she's getting up from the knockdown, and she timed it perfectly, right? Holly Holm, Ronda Rousey, like you see it all the time, right?
Yep.
Throws the high kick perfectly, and it just eats her straight on the throat, just shin across the throat. But
I know when I saw that, I was like, that must have hurt. Like I would have been like, just out,
it's just
not being able to breathe for the next like 2 days.
Yeah, dude. She's lucky that didn't do like internal damage, man. But man,
Did
Araujo.
emotional damage instead,
Yeah. I mean, so impressive though. Araujo.
Impressive. And the thing is, Araujo so much faster.
That was the thing. She's just much more explosive.
More explosive, faster. And Andrea Lee, when she was catching her with those big rights, I felt like she was hurting her more. The difference was the jab. When Araujo was stepping in with the jab, I felt like it snapped it more. She snapped it more.
Yeah.
But when it came to the straights, I feel like Lee had a little more power in her shots.
Yeah.
Now the corner work.
Is this what you were talking about when you were like,
this was what I was talking about earlier? Yes. Was it? It wasn't Andrea Lee, right? The corner where they were getting a bunch of shit last time for the way that they were talking to her.
No, that was Aspen Ladd.
You're right. That was Aspen Ladd. But this time the corner apparently said something about dirty Brazilians.
Dirty Brazilians, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay, so check it out. We've
Let's check it out. Let's cover
we've heard this before.
Thing.
We've heard this before, right? Like from Chael Sonnen.
Oh yeah.
And you hear it during the press conference. He's doing this in Brazil. Now, maybe it's just my bias, about the American Gangster, where I'm like, it's just Chael being Chael and he's being silly. I don't think Chael would have a camera on him, or a camera on him, and him not know that he's being recorded, where we would ever hear the words like, "Hey, those are dirty Brazilians."
Well, yeah. What did he say? He said, so he made a statement. By the way, Tony Kelly. He said, "Cancel culture is real. What I said was real and in the heat of battle, and in no way had any type of racist connotations meant. But if that's the way you take it, I don't give a fuck. So many people quick to say racist. That shit's getting so old. My reference was to a dirty eye poke."
Yeah, and look, I'm not saying he's racist at all. I don't know the guy, so I don't want to sit here and say he's racist. But I would say poor choice of words when like, hey, I'm probably this is probably going to cause some issues for me, for my team, extra attention, unwanted attention to my fighter, and absolutely in the heat of battle.
Yeah.
In the heat of battle. And it might be unfair for me to sit here and say, hey, in the heat of battle, like if you started fighting, Will, like would I be in the corner and then start throwing out like racial slurs? Like honestly, like I sit like I feel like you'd be sitting on the stool and I would throw out a racial slur and you'd be like, what's wrong with you?
I'd be like, what?
Yeah, and then you'd be thrown off the rest of the fight. You go out there and get knocked out.
True, that's a good point.
It's just
it's weird that that's the go-to.
Yes. A little weird.
That's the thing. I saw someone comment like, "Why didn't you just say like that dirty fucking bitch or something like that?"
That would have been better.
Would have been much better.
Because now you got a bunch of Brazilians like, "Hey, man."
Yeah.
I don't go around poking everybody's eye,
Yeah, exactly. Hey, how about that takedown after she got high kicked?
Yeah.
She got high kicked and she gets back up and just, dude, you know what it reminded me of? What? It reminded me of my favorite fight of all time. Frankie Edgar, Gray Maynard 2.
Oh my God. One of the best fights ever, for sure.
Gray Maynard just put the beat down on Frankie, and then the next round, Frankie comes out, and he's like clearly concussed and like bobbling around and stuff. And then they clinch, and he just picks him up and slams him. And I was like, this man is not human. He's not
If
human.
anybody hasn't seen the Edgar Maynard series.
What was that? Was that UFC 124 or 125?
Oh, shit, I don't even remember. It was
forever ago. Yeah, UFC 125. Man, Chris Levin got knocked out right before that. But
another story of the fight alum, Chris Levin.
Exactly. But yeah, Frankie, at that point, that was 2011. I was a sophomore in high school. I wrote an essay about Frankie Edgar after that.
That's hilarious.
So
was that before or after the Gracie brothers?
That was before. Yeah, that was my senior year.
Before or after the Diaz brothers?
What do you mean?
Did you ever write anything about the Diaz brothers?
Not an essay, no.
Oh, that'd have been awesome. Yeah. All right. Before that, we had Michael Johnson versus Allan Patrick. Dude, how fun
this made me so happy.
Michael Johnson in there again, and to see vintage Michael Johnson.
His hands and his footwork looked so fucking good, man. And
Fantastic.
I mean, he's had so many fights where he's like beating the brakes off of somebody, but then gets caught and then loses. And it's like, I mean, it's happened so many times. But in this one, he looked so good, man. Anytime Patrick would try to close the distance, the way he would move out of the way and circle off was so goddamn good. And he's cracking him with these hooks, and then he circles off. And you can see him screaming with each one. Just, I was like, God damn, dude. His hands are so good.
Hopefully Amanda Hebas goes back and watches his footwork, watches his fight.
Yeah, dude.
But no, again, vintage Michael Johnson. And he still has a lot of pop in those hands. He hurt Allan Patrick multiple times, I feel like, within the fight. But you just, again, so happy to see him back in there. I think he really needed that time off.
Oh, yeah, I think so, too.
I mean,
it was four in a row, man, that he had lost. But, dude, you go down – we talk about Frank Camacho fighting killers, dude. You go down since 2013. He's fought Joe Lozon, Gleison Tebow, Melvin Gillard, Edson Barbosa, Beneil Dariush, Nate Diaz, Dustin Poirier, Habib, Gaethje, Elkins, Andre Fili, Artem Lobov.
Oh, he fought the GOAT.
Yeah, and he
Artem
beat him.
Lobov.
Yeah, but then after that, Josh Emmett, Stevie Ray, Thiago Moises, Clay Guida. Like, God damn, dude, what a murderer's row that Michael Johnson had to go through.
That's nuts.
Crazy,
but super happy for him, man. Super happy.
Yeah, he looked so good, dude. And you could see the relief in the interview. You could see that he was just like, oh, that weight off their shoulders, man. I mean, he looked so good.
That must be so much pressure, man.
Beautiful.
That must be so much pressure.
I can only imagine, man. When that's your livelihood.
Yeah. Okay. Do you want to talk about Jandiroba versus Hill?
We don't need to.
Okay.
We're already at 47 minutes, and we got two fights that I definitely want to talk about.
Tatsuro Taira versus Carlos Candelario. You've been talking about Tatsuro.
I've been trying to tell everybody, watch out.
Did I pronounce it correctly?
Yeah.
Yeah. I didn't even practice.
I've been telling everybody. He's so smooth, man. And not just smooth, but the guy's a mixed martial artist. He's not just a striker. He's not just a grappler. I mean, he is good everywhere. His transitions and his way of defending. There was a couple times where Carlos was trying to get him off of his back and almost turned into his guard, but then he just reaches over, pulls himself back up, and it was like, nope, I'm staying on your back. And then on the feet, man, he's so slick. He's so slick. And
yeah, he's all right.
He's all right. All right, dude. I get it, man. UFC signs their first Japanese fighter, and you're like, oh, I don't know.
No, man. I'll say this. I'm excited to see who they put up against him next.
Well, he's still young, man. He's still young. This was his 10th fight.
He came in 10-0. He's now 11-0. I know there's a lot of hype from you around this guy. So because of this, I'm excited to see where he goes from here.
Guess what year he was born?
What year?
2000.
In the year 2000. That's pretty cool. Hey, but so young, man. I'm not gonna sit here and say like, man, I was blown away.
Really?
I'm
That's
not.
His UFC debut.
Then I would be lying.
Who looks that good in their debut?
You know who does? Torres.
Like 2 people? Torres, Chandler.
Mexico. Yes. Yes. Michael Chandler looked fantastic too. But dude, again, I wasn't blown away. I saw this and I was like, hey, this is gonna be a solid fighter. And if he did have one of those adrenaline dumps, because everybody says no matter how many fights you have in, no matter what organization, your first fight in the UFC, there's somewhat of an adrenaline dump. And I'm sure he also didn't want to lose his debut. So I just don't know how much caution was in there. But dude, we'll see what comes of this.
Here's what really impressed me, because I know the skill set's already there. I've seen it over and over, right? His 1-2 is crazy. He sneaks the high kick in really, really well. His grappling is good. His ability to transition from hurting someone on the feet to just dominating them on the ground and taking backs and slipping in chokes, fantastic. I thought Carlos did a very good job too. Very tough fight that he put up. But Tatsuro, he everyone wants someone like this to come in and land that slick 1-2 high kick knockout, right? They're looking for it. They want to see it. And I mean, instead, the guy wins all 3 rounds in his UFC debut, gets 15 minutes of cage time. I mean, that's so impressive to me because he didn't get the knockout. And when he did hurt him and drop him, and he didn't get the finish on the ground, he still continued to dominate the next 2 rounds. Very impressive. I cannot believe it.
I think part of it's just trying to piss you off too with this guy. You know what I mean?
It works, man. It works, man. I've been trying to show these people.
It's so funny. All right, Andrea Petroski versus Nick Maximov. Represent Maximov. Came in 8-0.
Yep.
And it was classic Maximov where he goes in for the ankle pick and holds onto that leg for dear life, and maybe gets into a couple scrambles.
Saw the hole. I think that's probably something that they trained extensively.
Had to have been. I think he said that too.
Yeah.
He's like, we train this all the time, and he afterwards he said, we train this all the time. We train this heavily for this. We train this. Sorry, I just have to say, HB Cobra coming through. Fanboy alert. He says, 100%.
Yeah,
100%. But he said we trained this extensively for this camp, and I'm just glad that I had an opportunity to sink it in the fight. If you're Maximov, you go back to this and you say, hey, my last fights I won in a similar fashion. Maybe disguise some things, certain ways. So there's things to do. Maximov very young. Again, he's 8-1 right now. So there's a lot of learning to still do. But I definitely think this was a great fight for Maximov to go back and say, hey, it's to the drawing board. It's not going to work every single time against everybody.
Yeah. I mean, the guy's 24, right? This was his first loss. It's a loss that he took 0 damage in. And it's a pretty big hole in his game that he can now see and adapt and recognize and fill up. But I think last week when we were previewing this card, I was like, man, it's one of those fights where guy I really like versus a guy I absolutely hate. So put all the money on the guy that I hate because he's about to beat my boy. That's what happens every single time. And then here we are talking about how my boy lost to the guy.
It's like when Drake puts down a bet, you know what I mean? You just know to go with the opposition. Yeah.
Haircut on the embedded, walking out to M&M. If Will likes a guy enough, he's gonna lose.
Dang, man, doesn't sound good for all the people that come on the pod and we really end up liking, But that was it. That was the card.
Yeah.
I just want to mention. So the Janjirova versus Hill. This is the first time in a while that I saw Angela Hill fight. Where going into the decision, I thought to myself, well, that's a unanimous call. Yeah, Angela Hill lost that, like, clearly.
I wasn't watching live, so I was getting the Texas group chat stuff, and I saw someone was like, so-and-so picked Hill, and I was like, oh, did someone win? Am I missing it already? Because I was at the A's game, so I was driving home, and there was like a moment where I was like about to open it and reply and be like Hill's probably going to win the fight but lose a split decision, because that's kind of what I thought was going to happen in this fight.
That's a classic Hill.
Yeah, happens all the time.
Yeah. All right. Moment of silence.
Only 2. Lauren Murphy versus Misha Tate got moved, got rescheduled. And Jamal Emmers versus Daniel Pineda would have been that's a good fight too. I would have liked to see that. I'm not sure why it got canceled.
The bonuses.
We got Ryan Spann getting a performance bonus for his crazy. His fight was nuts.
Congratulations on your 50G Spann.
Yeah. Manuel Torres got a performance bonus on his finish against Frank Camacho.
My heart.
That's even worse. Salt in the wound. Chookagian versus Ribas got fight of the night, like everybody predicted.
Well deserved.
Kind of crazy to me that Michael Johnson didn't get a bonus. His knockout was fantastic.
Again, we've talked about this before. We all know what you think the budget is, but we can't just start handing money out to everybody. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but we can't. We can only do 3 bonuses, and we can only pay for 1 photographer for the event. That's all we got.
Hey, time's been hard, dude.
Yeah.
Times have been hard. All right, so next fights are on the 21st, so next week, and we have Holly Holm is back.
Yeah, Katlyn
going up
Vieira.
against Katlyn Vieira. We also have Ponzinibbio, George's boy, versus Michel Pereira.
Man, that's a great fight. Holy shit.
Todorovic is going to be back in with his.
Oh, Chidi. Bro, Chidi versus Dushko. That's a fight, dude.
How do you pronounce his last name?
And then we got Tabitha Ricci versus.
I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't know. Oh, Eric Anders. Always fun
Jokwani,
to
I
see.
think. Eric Anders versus the turtle, man. That's a great turtle, or that's a great fight. The Iron Turtle.
Oh, Joseph Holmes is back in. Is he? What do they call him? Ugly? Isn't that his nickname?
So.
Ugly Joe
Man
Holmes.
or something.
Yeah, something like that.
Parker Porter versus. Ooh, bro. Is that correct? Is Jailton Almeida going up to heavyweight? I did not know this.
Well,
he's fighting Parker Porter.
I think they're fighting at heavyweight.
They're fighting at heavyweight, but is Almeida staying at heavyweight? Because in my opinion, Jailton Almeida has a very good shot of skyrocketing through the rankings at light heavyweight. That guy is a freak of nature. He is absolutely incredible. He's must-watch TV. Must-watch.
And then let me see here. We have Jonathan Martinez on there. Chase Hooper is back on here. So this should be a fun card.
Dude, Omar Morales versus Euros Medic. That's a great fight too.
It is. Yeah, should be a fun card.
That's a good card. Dude, Jailton Almeida versus Parker Porter. Holy shit. That fight and the Chidi fight, those are the fights to watch.
Dude, Porter, though, he just always surprises me because you see him and you're like, oh, okay, this guy's going to gas out soon. And it's just pressure, volume, 3 rounds all the way across. Super impressive.
It's that mental cardio.
Do we have anything else, Will? Is that it?
It seems like as of like a couple hours ago, seems like Gregor Gillespie has been cut from the UFC.
What?
Yeah. Not sure why, but he's been removed from the UFC fan rankings pool, which usually means they're removed from the roster.
What?
I mean, this dude's not taking fights.
Not active enough?
He just doesn't take fights. And you're contractually obligated to be offered 3 fights every year. And I know he turned down the Saryukian fight. I know he turned down a Gamrot fight. So I don't know. That's the only thing I could think of.
Hey, dude, guy just wants to go fishing, all right?
Yeah. His last fight was one of the best grappling fights I've ever seen in my life.
It was a blast.
So
all right. Anything else?
Thank you for bearing with us on this new platform.
Yeah.
A little herky-jerky. Rich holding down the fort, learning a new platform live on the fly.
Hey, shout out to Rich at Casual.
Yeah. We got
when is it that Rich has been with us for a solid year? Do you know?
I don't, but I do know that we started in June. So we're approaching a year anniversary of the show. I think 2 years.
2-year anniversary coming up.
We'll find out when Rich joined.
Yeah. We should do a little celebration. Although I think in that time he may have just watched one fight the entire time, and we have given him a list of about 50 fights for him to watch. But just a reminder to everybody, right? If you don't like watching the show, but you like listening to the podcast, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Breaker, Google Podcasts, pretty much anywhere podcasts are found, really, Radio Public and all that other stuff. Pocket Casts. Social media, though.
Yeah, we're at Story of the Fight on Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, Reddit, everywhere. Everywhere there's social media, we're Story of the Fight.
Really appreciate all the support, though.
Oh, dude, it's been so cool. We've been growing a lot. This month in particular has been massive. Like I said, when we started this episode, we were at 749 subscribers. We're trying to get to 1,000. Crazy. I mean, we went from goals of like, let's hit 400, let's hit 500, and then it's like 750 in the span of 2 weeks.
I remember when we were like, hey, we'll do a face reveal for Rich at Casual once we hit 200.
Yeah.
And I feel like that wasn't that long ago.
No, it's not. It was not that long ago.
So I appreciate everybody. Thank you so much. Hopefully you enjoy the content. If you think there's anything we could do to make it better, please let us know. Shout out to HLB Comer for joining us live Always appreciate your support, HLB Comer. Thank
Right
you for
on
joining
cue.
me and letting me know and reminding everybody that Will is just a fanboy when it comes to Rising Fighters and One Fighters. But that's all I
Just
got.
because Tatsuro's Japanese doesn't mean he fought in Ryzen or won.
Where do you fight?
All these regional promotions.
All right. Thank you so much, everybody, for listening, and thank you for joining Story of the Fight. Let's see how the cutaway is now.